Hi, everybody. Welcome to Eat Well, Live Well, Age Well. I'm Patricia Greenberg, your host. And today our guest is Susan Smith-Jones. She is a nutritionist, holistic practitioner, and a tremendous advocate of all things healthy and aging well. And I'm so excited to have her here because everything she talks about and everything she does is my baby. I love it. Dr. Susan helps people lose weight, get fit, and heal their bodies, creating success and learning how to live their dreams through wellness. Susan's the founder and the president of Health Unlimited, a Los Angeles-based consulting firm dedicated to optimal wellness, health education, and human potential. Welcome, Dr. Jones.
Thank you so much, Patricia. It's great to be with you. I have listened to you for a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. And me, I'm so thrilled to have you. Now, I personally requested to have you come on today because we want to discuss the pervasive problem we all seem to be having, and that's inflammation. We know inflammation serves a purpose in our bodies, but left unchecked, it can really wreak havoc on all of us. On a personal note, I'll tell you I've developed hip arthritis as I age. And so it's a topic near and dear to me. And I really want to work with you and see what it is we can do to live better, healthier lives as we age. Now, tell us what is useful about inflammation and what's harmful.
So most of us don't even give it a second thought unless we get a bee sting, we have an injury. Let's say we walk into a room and barefoot and stub our toe on a piece of furniture, or maybe we have a back injury. And so we feel instantly pain. And then along with the pain comes a swelling and a redness, and that's inflammation. And inflammation can be both a helper and a villain, because inflammation is a helper because let's say you are jogging and you sprain your ankle, the swelling will decrease the range of motion. And with that decrease, then it has a better opportunity to heal. But it's also a villain in the body because inflammation, like you said, when left unchecked, and it could be for weeks, months, years, and decades, when left unchecked, it can be the main contributing factor to so many diseases like heart disease, diabetes, cancer. You know, you look at things like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And all of these diseases, what they're discovering, have their start in prolonged and unchecked inflammation. And our body is designed to handle the inflammation. But when we don't take good care of our body, if we smoke, if we're having lots of EMR, electromagnetic radiation, if we eat a terrible diet, it causes free radicals to develop, which causes more inflammation, which causes diseases. We'll talk about this more specifically, but studies are done, and let me look at my notes right here, with cancer, showing that cancer often is preceded by 10 to 17 years. It could be low-level inflammation, and we'll talk about how to test it, what exactly causes it, and what you can do in your body to say goodbye to long-term inflammation.
Susan, what puts us at risk for chronic harmful inflammation in the first place? Because again, and I have heard this, it's decades in the making, that young kids, you picture kids are out and playing and resilient, and we hear over and over and over again, they're only 20, let them eat whatever they want, they'll have to diet when they get older, so just let them enjoy. And I'm not on that train either, but so tell us really where the risk begins, how that starts.
It begins with toxins in the body, heredity, of course, if you have an injury, and also if we have an infection, we get inflammation. But the major factor that causes the most inflammation in the body, over which we have total control, is diet. because
Mhm.
hopefully nobody shoves the food down your throat.
Right.
You decide what it is you eat. And you know, in terms of diet, when you eat junk foods, lots of with preservatives and additives and colorings and flavorings, these all contribute to inflammation on so many levels. If you are depressed, that contributes to inflammation. If you're always under stress, that does too. And our bodies were designed to be self-renewing, self-generating, self-rejuvenating. But often when we do, and especially during these years of COVID and lockdown, people ate a lot differently and they gained a lot of weight. And that causes inflammation, just gaining weight. And our body is designed to detoxify itself. But when we have an onslaught of poor eating habits combined with sedentary lifestyle, too much stress, and then you get depressed, and then you gain weight, then inflammation can wreak havoc on the 70 trillion cells in your body.
I wanted to also ask you that we're discussing and studying extensively different subject, and you and I are going to get together again to talk about this on this show, which is the microbiome and the gut health.
Yes.
But so an injury is protective. I mean, I love learning all these things. I know it, but I didn't understand in that detail. So the swelling actually inhibits movement to help heal.
That's right.
So an injury unchecked can also wreak havoc in the body.
And it's called a hot zone or a heated zone in the body. And these hot zones, when you have a little bit of inflammation and then you add in more, say, externally from your diet or whatever other factors, that creates an onslaught of free radicals. And I'm not talking about a group of people in South Central LA. I'm talking about single electrons that take over in your body, and they can damage. Now we've got over 70 trillion cells in our body. They can damage the cell membrane, but if they get inside the cell, they can even damage the DNA, which leads to all kinds of disease. So it's like a vicious cycle. If you have inflammation for years and 10 to 17 years, they say, that can cause all kinds of diseases and especially cancer. But then when you have the diseases, they cause more inflammation. And one way, by the way, to, next time you go have a physical, it's a simple blood test. You ask the doctor to check your level of C-reactive protein. The higher that level is indicative of a higher level of inflammation. And just so you know, losing weight, if you carry extra weight, losing weight will very quickly lower the level of the C-reactive protein in your body. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but almost all vaccinations create inflammation in your body and especially your brain, and often for a year. And then, of course, that's why, and we'll talk about exactly what to eat and what not to eat. We need to lower the omega-6s we have in our body. We need to increase the omega-3, because a century ago, we ate 50 times less omega-6 foods than we do now. And so I'll talk about and show you some things I have surrounding me on my table of good things to eat to help control your inflammation.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about and hard to keep it in the time frame, but this is such good advice.
What, 3 hours, Patricia?
Yeah. Now, we're talking about the inflammation and the body's own inherent healing system. We know diet and lifestyle play a huge role in preventing damage from inflammation. So there's two questions I had. if the body is in a state of chronic inflammation, which is just as dangerous as acute inflammation, so what does the body do to heal itself? In other words, can our inflammation and our lifestyles override the body's ability to heal itself? Or can the body always help us?
That's such a great question. If we don't live a healthy lifestyle, and like I said a few moments ago, if we're sedentary, if we don't sleep enough, if we're depressed, if we eat a pretty crappy diet, then our body cannot override this chronic or acute inflammation. But if we treat our body with respect and health, and give it the right nutriments and also the right thoughts, positive thinking, and things that I'll talk about, then we can benefit our body in such a way that we can seriously reduce and eliminate the chronic long-term inflammation, which, remember, is the harbinger of almost all diseases now. Doctors and scientists know that irrefutably, without a doubt.
I'm Patricia Greenberg. You're listening to Eat Well, Live Well, Age Well. My guest today is Dr. Susan Smith-Jones, PhD. Beautiful, looks amazing for her age. Her advice is priceless. And we're talking about inflammation, what it does, the benefits, and also the perils of being inflamed. What do you say to people who, I mean, I need you to help me answer this question because I get asked it a lot. There's nothing I can do past 50. There's nothing I can do past 60. Leave me alone. I'm 76 years. I live this long. I could eat whatever I want.
Yes. And by the way,
Sorry to throw such a heavy
No. I love this question because I get it all the time.
Yeah.
It's in my genes. My mom had arthritis.
Yes.
My dad died of heart disease. What can I do? I know there's nothing, so I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I look pretty good for 123.
Right. Yeah.
So turns out that there's a lot you can do. And I'm just going to cite a study of a few years ago by Dr. Dean Ornish. Okay. And the study was about, do you have control over your genes? And he found out that in 3 months, you could change over 500 of your genes in a 3-month period in one season. 43 that were turned on, others that were turned off by doing 4 things: by eating a great diet, basically plant-based, by exercising every day, by keeping your stress levels down with meditation or yoga, and thinking positive thoughts. I think that is so exciting that in 3 months, you can change all of your genetics. And if you're a pregnant woman right now, you could even change the genes of the child. You have control over your life. So it turns out there's a lot that you can do. I'll show you just really quickly. We have my book, Uplifted, 12 Minutes to More Joy, Faith, Peace, Kindness, and Vitality. And it's the companion book of Wired for High Level Wellness. I wrote these 2 books that covers the whole head to toe body, mind, and spirit program because I didn't want to do a 600-page book. I had to put them in 2 books.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can take anybody. And if you give me 30 days, I can get you looking and feeling 10 years younger very easily. And I give you over 150 things you can do in 12 or fewer minutes to help you to be happier and more physically vibrant and look younger, because nobody has a day or an hour these days, but most people can give me 12 minutes a day or fewer than 12 minutes, and it works.
Fantastic. Susan's also the author of 33 books, again, which, there's just covering so many topics that are so helpful So this uplifted 12 minutes to more joy, faith, peace, kindness, and vitality is available on your website. What is your website again,
Yes,
Susan?
it's my name, susansmithjones.com. You can get Uplifted or Wired for High Level Wellness on Amazon.
Okay.
If you go to my website, go to books, there's a way I can give you an autograph copy.
Oh,
I include a
okay.
little note card and a bookmark with each book. I love to do that. And make sure you would sign up for my free monthly healthy living newsletters right on the homepage, and follow me on Twitter at Susan Smith Jones.
Excellent. So I also wanted to talk to you about, a little bit more in detail. So inflammation, like we said, is linked to every dreaded disease. Let's stick with America. Of course, it's across the whole world, which is unfortunate. But as we know that around the world, as they adopt our lifestyle, they become sicker, which is so sad.
Right.
These communities that ate off the land and congregated and had faith-based communities and stuck with their families and slept well and worked physical jobs are now
And
taking on the
spend
Western
time out in
culture.
nature.
Exactly. They spent their
Yes.
time in nature and in all climates, winter, summer, spring, and fall. And now that they take on the sedentary lifestyle that we have, they're developing these disorders. So cancer, heart disease, allergies, diabetes, and skin disorders, just to name a few. But I wanted to also hone in on osteoarthritis. Now, that's traditionally considered a disease of old age. I mean, this is what I hear. I'm a longtime runner, and I was told, well, it came from running. Okay, there might be some long-term damage from doing a lot of activity, but there's also people who've never stepped outdoors and did any exercise and have it. So there's obviously something else going on here contributing to this. And what we're finding now, I got some research from the Arthritis Foundation of America that right now it jumped from in the 40 million to now over 60 million people in our country, and many are younger than 50 are affected by arthritis, believed to be wear and tear on the body and other forms of arthritis that come from immune disorders that we're told we have no control over. So can you speak to that a little bit? I think we're going to get into the food in a minute. That helps,
Yes,
because I know that that's a big part of it. And we talked about testing for inflammation. I just want to go over that again. When you get your primary exam, get your C reactive protein checked. The cardiologist will often do this, but the primary may not, so you'll have to ask for it. And it's an excellent test to see where you stand.
Yes. Now, with osteoarthritis, the joints that you use the most will tend to have the most injury. And that's where a lot of free radicals will decide to meet and get together and hang out. So, and some of the foods I'll talk about in a moment, if you take them on a daily basis, will really make a difference to get rid of the free radicals. These are anti-inflammatory foods, herbs, and spices. And also you want to make sure with osteoarthritis that you do, besides, and I'm like you, I used to do, no more, it's just too hard on my body, but I did many marathons and triathlons. And you train on cement and asphalt.
Yes.
And if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do any of that. It would be on the bluff in Santa Monica or the beach, and it'd be more Pilates. But it's important to, in addition to aerobic fitness, and I taught students, staff, and faculty at UCLA how to be healthy and fit for 30 years. You want to make sure you always stretch. You want to take your joints in their full range of motion. And I also got something that's been so helpful. It's an inversion table. You know how you hook your feet on it and then you lie back and you can go upside down, because gravity is always pushing our body together and we need to elongate it. And an inversion table, and there are different companies that make them, it's really helpful for the body. But our goal, something that we have control over, is getting in more omega-3 fatty acids and foods that are antioxidants that help get rid of all those free radicals that wreak havoc on your joints and are a contributing factor to osteoarthritis, all kinds of itis. That word itis means inflammation of,
Mhm.
and will cause all these diseases. So we do have control over it, starting most importantly with what we eat.
So, where can you give me the short answer, if you will? And I'm going to have you back because there's so much more to talk about on
Yes,
this
yes.
particular subject. Short answer on meat versus fish versus eggs for your protein sources.
Yes, and protein comes from plant-based foods too.
Absolutely,
There's more
absolutely.
protein in kale and romaine lettuce, ounce for ounce, than there is in animal products. And animal products cause inflammation in the body. It's better to eschew heavy-duty animal like red meat. And I don't eat animal products. I want to keep my body as healthy as possible. Fish is a much better source. And in terms of fish, deep cold water fish like salmon is a very rich source of omega-3 fatty acids. So if you eat fish, that should be more your fish of choice.
How about eggs?
Eggs, it's a good protein source, but it can cause inflammation in the body. And I would say, do a test, take 30 days, 21 to 30 days, and go off, just give it a little try. Go on a plant-based diet for a month and just see how much better you feel, and how lots of areas in your body, your knees, your ankles, your hips that had pain, you might find you don't have pain anymore. And then do we have time to show a few things that you can
I do.
eat?
That was the next thing I wanted to ask you. And then we're going to close with just like your 5 favorite hacks for staying well. But let's talk about, you have a very specific program for treating inflammation. So please, Susan, share with us
Yes.
what you have.
So
Yeah.
make sure you get enough sleep. Keep your thoughts positive. I'm a big believer in molecular hydrogen therapy, inhalation. If I turned my computer, you'd see my little device over here. Go to susansmithjones.com, click on favorites. You can read about it, because that will help reduce and eliminate all inflammation in your body. You just breathe in this special air.
Mhm.
You want a diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables with a lot of raw foods. And you want to emphasize ginger and turmeric.
Okay.
You know, everyone knows that this is turmeric, and we've got ginger here. And every morning, my grandmother taught me this when I was a teenager. I take my glass teapot. I like glass because then I know it's clean on the inside. I fill it with my good alkaline water that I make fresh in my kitchen. And I'll take 3 to 5 little coins. Maybe I'll cut them diagonally or like a nickel or a dime. And I put them in this water and I bring it to a boil and I simmer it for 5 to 8 minutes. And what comes out is beautiful ginger turmeric tea. So it's less expensive. You don't need to buy tea bags. And I make 1.5 quarts of this every morning. And it's my base for my smoothies. And I drink the rest throughout the day. I might put in a tea bag of green tea, but I make sure I get a lot of ginger and turmeric every day. Turmeric is nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. You can get ginger in a powder form. I take a teaspoon of this in that drink every day. I put in a little fresh pepper because it makes the turmeric more effective as an anti-inflammatory. You can get a turmeric liquid tincture. You can take it by capsule form if you want. I also every day recommend flax seeds. These are golden. I get them organic at my co-op in Santa Monica. You can get darker ones. I like the golden. And once a week, I don't drink coffee, but I use a nut grinder it's dedicated for nuts and seeds. And once a week, it takes 5 seconds. and I make freshly ground meal. It's better to make it than buy it because you don't know how long it's been sitting on the store shelf.
So do
Why
you take the ground flaxseed and just pour it into your
just
food?
pour it in
add
the nut
into
grinder, put the lid on, 5 seconds, it's made.
But what do you do with it? How do you
Yes, I take
incorporate-
1
okay.
to 2 tablespoons a day. You can stir it in water or juice. You can put the whole seeds in the blender, but you don't digest them well, so the blender digests them. You can sprinkle the flaxseed on salads, on casseroles. I literally take a tablespoon of it a day, put it right in my mouth and eat it that way. But flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, leafy greens, and salmon are great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, the best foods, and especially turmeric and ginger. But top of the list would be turmeric to reduce inflammation in the body. So you want to get these things in your body every single day, not like once a month or once a year, every day. And you'll see, you'll begin to feel better. You'll see aches and pains going away. But of course, you've got to drink enough water, get enough sleep, get good exercise, stretch. And one of the best things, cost-free, get out on the earth, take your shoes and socks off, do earthing and grounding. Because why? Because it reduces all inflammation and pain and depression, and your body soaks electrons through the earth into your bare feet. If you can lie in your birthday suit in the backyard, hopefully there are no drones going over, then you'll soak up more electrons, and the more electrons, the more the electrons marry and pair, and that takes away the inflammation. So there's so many things you can do. And I talk about this a lot in Uplifted and Wired for High Level Wellness, and on my website and in my newsletters.
Terrific. And like I said, even if you have a little patch of grass, or you go down to the beach and walk along the sand, anything to get yourself, like you said, as naked as possible and close to earth is fantastic.
Even if it's 2 feet of grass in the backyard.
Absolutely.
So you can stand. And if the grass is wet, you get more transference of the good electrons into your body. So if you have a backyard and you can put on shorts and a t-shirt and put a little water on the grass and just lie down, or walk around, do your affirmations, think positive thoughts while you're earthing. And on my website, go to favorites. The very top entry is all about earthing. And right now you can't see, but my feet are on a little earthing mat. And I've posted a 1-hour documentary by doctors and scientists that if you think this is crazy, earthing and grounding, you won't after looking at the documentary, and you'll see amazing stories about people who have in a few minutes, you're more positive, but a few weeks, you will clear up all the inflammation and you'll help to get rid of aches and pains in your body.
Fantastic.
So that's on my website. And I've got a search bar. You can look up anything you want.
Susan, lastly, before we go, I want to ask you, what do you like about getting older?
I'm smarter. I'm wiser. I'm healthier now. I have more energy than I did 30, 40 years ago. So I actually quite love getting older, and I like to see every day, what can I do today to take a little bit better care of my body? I believe that God has given us this great gift, a miraculous gift of the body. One of our gifts back to God is to take really good care of our body. We weren't designed to be sedentary or to eat junk foods, but we are responsible for our health. We're the president and CEO of our body and life. Don't wait till next month or the beginning of next year. Every day you can start fresh and say, today I'm going to treat my body with kindness and respect. It's up to you to do that. And we can all do it. You have the key within you right now to get rid of illness, to extend your life and be uplifted day in and day out. And it's our responsibility. We just need to make that commitment and stick with it.
Excellent, excellent advice, Susan. Thank you so, so much for coming on today. And please visit Susan at www.susansmithjones.com. Fun name, which we didn't get to talk about, but
Yes.
a simple name with an extraordinary woman behind it. And follow Susan on Twitter at Susan Smith Jones. Susan, take care of yourself. Stay well, stay happy, stay healthy. And we will see you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Patricia, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
My pleasure too. Just such a delight. Thank you.